Girlfriend of 7 years cheated on me with some jackass vegan. This is a throwaway simply because a lot of my friends and work associates use Reddit and have me added as a friend. The truth is I am embarrassed. In my line of work weakness isn't tolerable and I'd be a laughingstock. I am 32 years old. I met my girlfriend, we're calling her Joanne, 29 years old, on the 31st of December 2004 at a New Year's Eve party. For me it was almost love at first sight. We only talked for an hour but I couldn't get her out of my head for weeks. I was dating someone else at the time, and the second week in January I was still thinking about this relatively trivial conversation I'd had with Joanne. I told my current girlfriend of the time that things couldn't work out. I didn't know if I would see Joanne ever again, but I'd felt something in that one conversation I'd never felt before. It was an amicable split. I was honest and told her I liked her but didn't love her. I tried to track Joanne down through friends and the like. These were the days before Facebook and I never used MySpace. I finally got a hold of her number, and when I rang she said she remembered me too. I asked her out on a date and we spent a lot of time together. Another guy in our social group fancied Joanne, so we took it slow. We were very cryptic about how we felt and didn't even kiss until about a month of seeing each other. After that our relationship went off on a rocket, and I'd never even dreamed of feeling that way before. We were inseparable and intolerable, no doubt. We went everywhere together and she loved the things I did and I loved the things she did. I'd never met a girl that got into things like snowboarding and surfing so quickly, and she loved it. I even took dance lessons and mastered the samba with her. It's not been all sunshine and lollipops though, and I'll be the first to admit we've had our problems like any other couple. We broken up once about 3 years ago but wasn't apart for more than 3 months. We've lived both together and apart. Whatever happened, I thought I'd been the most reasonable, loving, caring boyfriend I could be. She got pregnant when we was about 1 year in and I stuck completely by her. She said she wanted it, that she couldn't abort it, and I said I'd be with her no matter what. When she miscarried I took weeks off work to be by her side. I told her that I was there for no matter what always. When she was kicked out of home because her parents moved to Australia, I financially supported her until she got on her feet. These were tough times. It was hard for both of us, but I felt we grew because of them. I felt that going through all this was something special. So I proposed on New Year's Eve last year after taking her to the place we first met, a bar with a rooftop balcony thing. I told her that we should see if it was open on the off chance before we went home at around 2 a.m. She agreed, but when we got there she noticed it wasn't a bar anymore. I already knew this beforehand, and through my contacts I got in touch with the music shop owner and he let me use his roof. I took her up the fire escape and I had the whole roof almost exactly how it looked at that night, which included renting a huge fish tank and a bunch of Christmas lights. The whole thing set me back 600 minus beach. There was a table in the middle with 2 glasses and a bottle of champagne. I got down on one knee and she cried and said, "Yes, the last 6 months I've been working really hard. I am in sales and we've had a potentially life-changing deal coming through that would make the company I am with millions in the next 5-8 years. I haven't stopped working my arse off and I've told her it's going to be tough but that I am doing it for us. If I get it." I told her we could have an absolute dream wedding. Well, the last couple of months have been nail-biting, but I finally secured the deal and netted myself a huge bonus and job security for life. I was on cloud 9, so I bought Joanne and I some tickets to go away and celebrate. Yesterday my boss let me go home early because of my work and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to surprise her. I nipped in the flower shop and got her a bunch of white roses before slipping back home for a shower and to get out of my suit. I was driving in my white Merc to her house on the top of the world. Work was brilliant. The weather was beautiful. I had the perfect surprise and I couldn't wait to tell her. Anyway, when I arrived there was a shitty SUV parked outside that I had seen before but couldn't place. The penny didn't even drop when the door was unnaturally locked. I unlocked it and called her name. There was some music playing and I didn't hear her reply. I figured she was in the shower, and fixed myself a glass of water and some water for the flowers. In the kitchen there was some cheap wine and 2 glasses. Then I heard the bed banging. My heart sank and I pieced it all together. I used to think my heart sank was a metaphor, but I actually felt something drop inside my chest. It was like going on one of those bungee rides in theme parks. I almost dropped the glass. I walked to the stairs and at the bottom there were these pair of ruined old leather boots covered in dirt. I was red with rage. I walked up the stairs and could hear him calling her a slut. I swung her bedroom door open. There she was getting ducked in the arse. I shit you not. He was ducking her in the arse. She leapt up instantly and before I knew it he had his pants on. I looked at him and recognized him. It was this guy that owns a vegan cafe near my place. We'd been a few times and he had a couple of parties she had been to with friends. He tried to explain himself but I just told him to get the duck out right now. He left so quick he forget to take his cheap wine with him, the bastard. I couldn't believe it. She ran over to touch me, hug me or something, but I just threw her back down on the bed. I told her she disgusted me and I left. I went straight to my car and she followed me out, pathetically asking me to hear her story. I told her not to ducking call me and dropped my personal mobile out the window. I own a work one but it's blocked from anyone other than colleagues. I went home and got in the shower and just cried. I can't believe it. The more I think about the relationship the more I cry. I thought about the miscarriage and cried, and then my proposal and cried, and then the first time I met her and I cried even more. I've not been into work today. I called and told my boss everything. He's a great friend and one of 3 people who know. He's told me to have a holiday from work and that I've done more than enough in the last year. He told me to take a week and then see how I feel. She's been knocking on my door and calling my landline, so I plugged it out. My friend stopped by earlier after he heard what happened from my boss. A lot of my friends are worried. They haven't heard from me and can't get in contact because I dropped the phone. Too long didn't read love of my life cheated on me for some broke piece of shit vegan. I wanna know why. Anyway Reddit. I know the standard advice. I am not looking for that. Can someone just please tell me why? I loved her. I do love her. So ducking much. I just wanted us to be happy and I had worked so hard for that. All that hard work, it wasn't for me. It was for us. How could she ducking do this after she ducking miscarried my baby and I paid for stupid ducking art studies when her parents ducked off without a trace? I am just confused. How could she ducking betray me after everything we've been through? I don't understand it. What would make a girl that loves you, that said yes to marriage with you, that was gonna have your baby, that was with you for 7 years, that called you pet names, that you would cuddle and make love to? What would she do it with this broke jackass? This piece of shit that couldn't support a ducking puppy. Edit. Some of you have given me advice to say take an STD test. I've already booked one with my private physician for tomorrow. As far as what other action I've taken, I've just bought a new mobile online. And I have cancelled all debit payments on my card for her gym membership, business classes and whatnot. I don't think I'm going to ask her why. I am just angry now. I think the answer is obvious. She didn't care enough about me to have a bit of restraint. Update. Hello Reddit. Wow. First, thanks to everyone who replied to my original thread. I knew that infidelity posts seemed to go viral on here, but the response was overwhelming. I want to just say thank you to everyone who replied. I am posting this update because when I am on Reddit I really appreciate people that spend the time to tell me how they've got on after I've invested in their story. First, just to clarify, I know I came off as a materialistic jackass in my original post, but I don't look down on anyone less well off or anything. The comments about the vegan shitty SUV, boots etc. I said out of anger, not because I hate poor people. Money does mean a lot to me, but my ex-girlfriend meant a lot more. Family, friends, loved ones all come above my work. So it's been about a week now since it happened, and I can just say this Reddit, I am heartbroken. I was angry and confused last time I posted, but now I am just lonely and devastated. I've been taking long walks in the evening, smoking about a dozen cigarettes and then just finding a quiet place to sob my eyes out. My self-esteem has taken a turn for the worse. I've reconnected my phone now and I seem to be staring at it, waiting to hear from her constantly. Waiting to hear her beg for me back. It hasn't happened like that though. The day after I posted on Reddit, I met up with her at a Starbucks to find out some answers to my question why. The truth is she didn't have any. She said that she didn't know why she did it. That she does love me and that she does want to marry me, but that sometimes when she was with me lately she just didn't feel like she really wanted to be there. Then I said that I feel like that sometimes, but I don't go out and duck waitresses. Then she turned and went all crazy saying I am too possessive and that she should have some freedom. She said that cheating happens every day and I shouldn't take it so personal. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Then the tears came. And then, the begging. I asked her what it is she loved about me and she couldn't say anything beyond the standard cliches. I listed off a huge string of things about her and finally said those were things I love about you. I told her how betrayed I felt. How I never imagined being in another relationship apart from ours in my whole life ever again. I told her that this was probably the worst thing that anyone had done to me personally in my whole life. Her tears set me off, and before I knew it, we're two bawling idiots sat in Starbucks with everyone looking at us. Finally I told her that despite how destroyed I was now, that there were some signs that it was coming anyway. I told her that I don't think she felt the same way about the relationship as I did, at least not in the last year. She was still crying and I said, Joanne, thank you, some of the best years of my life, and go duck yourself for ruining them. I'll send your stuff over tomorrow. You can keep everything I have apart from the ring and my external hard drive. The next day a mutual friend went over to hers and dropped her stuff off and picked up my external. I took the ring off her at Starbucks. Since then, well, it hasn't been pretty. I've been smoking so much. I never usually smoke. I must be going through 20 cigarettes a day. I suppose it's better in the short term than alcohol. The worst bits are finding things that remind me of her. Finding some PJs she'd left here in the wash. Smelling her perfume walking past a chick in town. Seeing her shampoo in the shower. Coming across pictures on my computer. All of it takes a toll. Well, I don't know what else to put for now. Any support is appreciated. I'll try to reply to most of you. Well done, sir. You didn't cave even though it hurt like hell. Respect. saying I am too possessive and that she should have some freedom. She said that cheating happens every day and I shouldn't take it so personal. Speechless rage. Yeah, I too got the red mist after reading that. OP, you've dodged a bullet. It may not seem like it now, but it took me a little over 2 years to realize the same about my cheating ex-fiancé. Homie, you lost nothing but an imaginary girlfriend. The girl you thought you were in love with wouldn't cheat on you and then tell you not to take it personally. Since your girlfriend did that, I guess it turns out that the girl you were in love with never really existed. Good luck recovering. This too shall pass. I see you have a few downvotes, but I think that's solid advice, maybe a little blunt, but solid all the same. Being able to ask why in a somewhat civil way, and getting any kind of answer, is far more than a lot of us have gotten from cheating exes. In that sense, you have some kind of closure and something to use to rebuild your emotional barriers, even if she gave you a non-answer answer. That in itself tells you what you needed to know. Recovering is never easy, and never quick. Drink, smoke, whatever gets you through it without also ruining your life. Good luck. Second story. My girlfriend wanted to go on a break, didn't explain why, then had a threesome with 2 of my best friends, and did things with another buddy. Please help me, I just need to vent to something at least, but please tell me I am not crazy. She went on a break, didn't explain to me anything. Later we talked and she told me she felt limited, that people started to see her as the relationship instead of her and other things. So after 2 weeks we worked it out eventually. She came back. I asked her for no more surprises and she said okay. Then she tells me she made out with a buddy twice. Nothing more. It hurt me that she moved on so quick in only a week, but I was getting over it. But the hardest thing for me was how I could trust her after she lied to me. So I got over that eventually. Then I talked to her later and she tells me about the threesome ex and doing more with that other guy. This all happened over the span of 3 weeks. I am just lost. I have no idea where this came from. Our relationship was fantastic before all of this happened. I feel like an idiot for not seeing this sooner or something. I have no idea. I feel like I must be an idiot, but I know I am not. There's just something wrong. Not only did she have a threesome but with my friends I am in high school who I was going to for advice and help. And they continued to give me advice and offer their support. I assume after this happened chronologically to me it doesn't make sense otherwise. I have 2 friends in my school that I know I can count on and I have been. But lately I just feel as if I've isolated myself too far from my other friends, and that I have no one else I can trust. I have these trust issues now that I don't understand. She was my best friend, and at times I feel like I just need my best friend back for someone to lean on. I don't have so many others I can rely on. I don't understand how any of them could treat me like that. I hate all my 4 former friends for taking advantage of my situation and her for falling into them, but maybe she was confused. Then sometimes I feel like I just want to leave it all behind and move on. Yet when I try, I just want friends to lean on. And I just want my best friend back. I can't focus on any of my overloaded workload either because I keep thinking about them with her. And somehow I need to get it done. I know this sounds a little rantish and I am honestly embarrassed what this situation has turned me into. But please, help me look at this situation. Did she hurt me too much for me to be able to look at myself as anyone if I somehow let her back? I thought I was a friendly dude. I am not a loser high school dropout or anything. I thought I was pretty popular with my group. Help me. Third story. I 34 male did a bad thing. Learned some things about wife 30 female I didn't want to know. My wife and I married almost 5 years hit a rough patch. She admitted to me that she checked my email and saw an email from my ex-wife saying my ex still loved me. I got curious and looked for that email. It was dated 2004, a couple of years before we present wife met, right after our divorce was finalized. I deleted it, and pondered why I even kept it or if my wife even bothered to read it or look at the date. So I got a hair up my butt and decided to check my wife's email. I've had no reason not to trust her. I just felt violated and decided my method to take care of the situation was to do what she did to me. Except, I don't know her password for her email, but her Facebook opens right up. So I just opened up Facebook and then clicked on a couple of her friends to see their correspondence. Boring, boring, boring. Almost decide to just stop and see a message from one of her friends, a female friend she doesn't really see anymore. I open that up and scroll through, and right before they stop talking and see just dozens of messages about how my wife is trying to plan on a vacation with her soulmate. The time on the messages was late last year. I keep scrolling and learn that she has a soulmate SM and it is not me. He lives in another state. She's talking about how she's and the SM are willing to drive halfway to hook up. She also talks about leaving me and how she hates to leave me, but she wants to be with him, and if he asked, she would leave me in a heartbeat. SM has a current girlfriend and my wife said something along the lines of I can't wait until that beach is out of the picture. Just have to figure out how I am going to give hubby the news. I am absolutely floored by this discovery. Now I must believe there is this ticking time bomb on our relationship. I feel absolutely horrible that I even saw all this. And maybe she was just talking things up with her friend. Or maybe not. I sent my wife a text saying I wish I was your soulmate. I have not confronted her yet and she has no idea what I saw. She replied with, you may not be my soulmate, but you're my best friend. What in the actual duck is that? This is done. Right. Too long didn't read. Saw messages from my wife to one of her friends talking about how she wants to leave me for another man. Considers me her best friend and not a soulmate. This is my exit. A. Update 5.3. Sorry about no updates. I still have not talked to her about this. I am not trying to avoid the situation. My father has been battling cancer for about 8 years now. He had to go to the emergency room yesterday. My blood family needs me now. Told wife that and I didn't want to be bothered with worry about how she wants to fix things. Short update, I never mentioned she has never met this person away from keyboard. This was an online relationship that's lasted 15 years. Also, my dad is doing much better today. Cancer is not worse. Had a stroke. Which is good news for us. She sent me this email last night. The thought of losing you makes me hurt. Really bad. I am sorry you are hurting from me and from what's going on with your dad. I want you to be there for your family. But I want to be there for you. When we got married I meant it when we said in good times and in bad. I know I already said this to you. But I hate that you are hurting. I am sorry that things I said hurt you. I love you with all my heart and I will do anything to keep our family together. I can't change the past, but I will do my best to make it right. I love you so much. I am sorry that saying you were my best friend made you mad. But you are my best friend, my lover, my partner. And I believe that. I want us to be together forever. Like I said, I love you forever. Please come home. Please come back to me. Felt I owed it to you guys to update something. But that's about all I got right now. My dad is still in the hospital. His blood pressure is too low to administer pain medication. He's all I can think about right now. Hit like. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to our channel.